Boulder's wild. You can't pin it to just one vibe. One minute you're chasing the sunrise at Mount Sanitas with boxcar coffee still cooling in your hand, and the next you're dodging Teslas and trail bikes on Pearl Street and wondering if you wandered into an REI fashion show. That mashup, it's the reason this place hooks you. You grab an oat milk latte at Trident, talk carbon neutrality with a barefoot climber, and 10 minutes later you're on a Chautauqua trailhead. Each pocket runs on its own frequency. One hums with espresso and ambition, another's quiet enough to hear Boulder Creek whisper. And the places everyone brags about, not always where the locals actually live. There's one neighborhood everyone overlooks that's about to blow up, and one locals secretly wish would stop trending. Come meet the Boulder locals actually brag about, the real caffeinated, dirt under your nails version people actually fall in love with. If you're new here, welcome to Boulder, where calm and chaos somehow share a lease. And if you've been hanging with me for a while, you already know no surface tours, no real estate fluff. I'm here to show you how people actually live, where the trail dust sticks to your shoes, where the espresso is worth the wait, and where locals secretly hope you don't move next. Boulder's layered. Every corner's got its own rhythm, its own tribe, and a set of quirks you only get once you've lived them. You can hear buskers tuning guitars down Pearl Street, smell wood-fired pizza mixing with mountain air, and feel that heartbeat that never really slows down. So whether you're figuring out where to plant roots, when to sell your place, or just decode what makes Boulder tick, you're in the right spot. If Boulder had a heartbeat, you'd feel it pounding right here on Pearl Street. This is the part of town that refuses to have a quiet day. Street performers juggling next to a violinist who's been playing that same song since See You was cool the first time. You hear the low hum of conversation spilling out of patios, smell garlic drifting out of Pasta J's, cutting through the roasted coffee and sunscreen, and realize you've walked a half a block without checking your phone once. That's the Pearl Street spell. It drags you into the moment. Downtown isn't just a shopping strip. It's Boulder's open-air living room. People don't come here to do something, they come here to feel something. One week, it's the World Singing Day. The next, it's a Friday night stampede. A street festival, a band, a reason to linger. Morning walks that somehow stretch into lunch. Quick errands that end up as a 3-hour people-watching session. Somewhere between a busker, someone with a yoga mat over their shoulder, and a guy casually walking his parrot, you realize this place doesn't try to be weird, it just is. Cards on the table, living here isn't about convenience. It's a vibe. Downtown means you crave energy. Like that you can roll out of bed, grab brunch at Snooze, hit the farmer's market, and be at a gallery opening before lunch. It's not cheap, and yeah, you'll notice the safety patrols out at night. Boulder's just evolving like any great city that values its pulse. Your trade up, you live inside the experience. No commute, no FOMO, just front row Boulder every single day. Even after sunset, the rhythm doesn't die, it just shifts. Patio lights flicker on, guitars tune up again, and you watch that perfect moment when the Flatiron silhouettes fades into deep purple. It's velvet vibes with sneaker energy, and somehow it feels like home, even if you're new here. And that's the Boulder Pulse, steady, alive, and impossible to ignore. If that sounds like your kind of energy, and you're the type who thrives on motion, music, and that endless hum of community, then downtown might be your match. My team and I live this every day. We're Boulder's local real estate team of choice, and we help people find their perfect corner of this wild, inspiring city. So if Pearl Street sounds like home already, call us, text us, or shoot over an email. All of our info's linked below in the description. Reach out and let's start figuring out where your Boulder story begins. If downtown is Boulder's pulse, then Chautauqua is its breath, slow, deep, and pine-scented. It's that part of town where mornings start with the fog lifting off the Flatirons and the sound of hiking boots on gravel. You can roll out of bed, pour your coffee, and hit a trailhead before your laptop even wakes up. The air smells like trees and ambition. This is where people don't just do mornings, they earn them. Chautauqua's not just scenic, it's a National Historic Landmark wrapped around nature itself. There are roughly 40 miles of open space trails right off these streets, and when the concerts echo from the historic auditorium, you realize the whole area feels like a living postcard. Houses here carry their history, old porches, creaky floors, mountain views that stop time. On weekends, you'll see muddy trail shoes lined up on porches and kids chasing squirrels while parents sip kombucha. But that beauty has its quirks. Weekend parking near these trailheads, a full contact sport. Grocery runs get timed around marathon routes and concert nights. Still, that's a part of the charm. Here, the mountains aren't just your backdrop, they're your neighbors. And then then, just north of Baseline, everything flips. University Hill, or the Hill if you're local, runs on caffeine and chaos. It's younger, louder, and unapologetically alive. Picture college kids flooding the streets after a CU Buffs win, neon lights bouncing off old brick buildings, and the smell of late-night pizza colliding with fresh mountain air. Living here means embracing the noise. You might wake up to laughter spilling from a rooftop party that never ended, or the sound of recycling bins after a Friday night that went too hard. But the Hill's evolving, revitalization efforts and local programs are trying to balance that student buzz with everyday livability. And honestly, it's working. There's this new rhythm. The energy's been tuned, not tamed. You can grab a breakfast burrito at Illegal Pete's, coffee at Alpine Modern, and still hit your run before most people even find their car keys. For a lot of folks, that's peak Boulder, a neighborhood that never powers down. For others, it's sensory overload with a side of nostalgia. But that's Boulder, two neighborhoods blocks apart, speaking completely different emotional languages. One whispers, one yells, both belong. Comment your camp, chorus of crickets or chorus of guitars. I want to know because Boulder's split personality is half the fun. And if you thought Boulder's just for students and hippies, wait till you see the next one, South Boulder. It's quieter, steadier, and somehow more alive in its own way. The part of town where the mountains feel closer, the neighbors actually wave, and the city finally exhales. If Chautauqua is Boulder's postcard and the Hill is its after party, South Boulder's the part that makes it actually feel like home. This is where the city exhales. Wide streets, backyard gardens, trailheads tucked behind cul-de-sacs, and neighbors who know each other's dogs by name. Devil's Thumb and Shanahan Ridge lead the charge down here. They don't just border the mountains, they practically meld with them. Boulder's open space network gives you access to over 150 miles of trails, and there are trailheads right in the neighborhood here. Dinner's done, and 5 minutes later, you're halfway up the Bear Canyon Trail. That's the door-to-trail lifestyle locals brag about, and honestly, they've earned the right. There's something grounded about South Boulder, a mix of professors, longtime locals, and families who came for just a few years and never left. You'll pass front yard veggie gardens, kids racing scooters past porch tomatoes, and early risers heading towards the NCAR Trail while the city's still stretching away. Zero posturing, 100% livable. If downtown's where you go to feel alive, South Boulder's where you go to remember who you are. The Table Mesa Shopping Center is pure community glue, the kind of spot where you see the same faces at Neptune Mountaineering on a Saturday morning that you laughed with at the Southern Sun on Friday night. The air smells like pancakes, coffee, and a little bit of mountain dust. Someone's probably selling homemade granola at a yard sale around the corner. Homes here lean more practical than flashy, but they come with something rarer, calm. You can still hear crickets at night, and when the wind kicks off the flat irons, it feels like the mountains are answering back. People here aren't chasing the next big thing, they're just living it comfortably. Sure, it's not postcard perfect. Trailhead parking fills up fast, housing moves faster, and the wildfire readiness is a part of the deal. But this neighborhood owns that reality. Between fire prep meetups, RAP grants for home hardening, and the city's zero vision corridors designed for safer walking and biking, folks here show up for each other. Call it community insurance, paid in porch waves. Living here means being part of something steady. South Boulder doesn't need a spotlight. It's often seen as one of the areas that keeps the city's rhythm grounded and connected. It's where people put down roots, raise kids, and build the kind of community that doesn't brag, it just shows up. But head north just a little bit, and that calm, grounded heartbeat morphs into something else entirely. Louder, artsier, and splashed with color, North Boulder isn't about stillness, it's about expression. South Boulder keeps Boulder grounded, but Novo gives it rhythm. The moment you cross north of Iris, the vibe flips. The streets get louder with color, the buildings hum with creativity, and every coffee shop looks like it might double as an art gallery, because it probably does. Once seen as the city's industrial fringe, North Boulder reinvented itself without losing its scrappy roots. This is what many locals call Boulder's creative laboratory, powered by the Novo Arts District and the new Arts Hub expansion with BMocha. Imagine a walkable corridor of studios, murals, and pop-up stages where inspiration spills out onto the sidewalk. Less lacquer, more heartbeat. On First Fridays, the neighborhood turns into a full-blown street scene. Painters hanging canvases, musicians tuning guitars, food trucks rolling in with the smell of curry and espresso. You'll hear jazz spilling from open studios and the occasional hammer from a workshop down the block. It's Boulder's creative chaos done right. You'll see artists, young families, tech folks with paint stained jeans, people who refuse to pick one lane. And yeah, parking's still a bit of a creative experiment, but that's part of the charm. A quirk tax worth every minute. New live work projects and the Art Hub expansion are reshaping the area, but in true Boulder fashion, it's what the city's art and community plan describes as evolution without erasure. You still got the warehouse studios, the sawdust-smelling workshop, and the bakeries tucked in behind bike shops. The city's plan calls it a creative village, and that's exactly what it feels like. A place where innovation and everyday life overlap in the best way. Housing here mirrors the mix. Charming old cottages, slick new townhomes, and modern builds that sneak in a studio or workspace. It's tailor-made for people who need a second room not for guests, but for projects. Around here, your neighbor might be a sculptor, a yoga instructor, a coder. You'll see someone biking to yoga with a canvas strapped to their back, and that's just a Tuesday. Families are quietly discovering Nobo too, drawn to its parks, bike paths, and calmer streets. There's a friendliness that runs under the artsy edge. People wave, kids draw chalk murals on the sidewalks, and Saturday mornings start with coffee at Amante or pastries from Spruce. Up here, the rules bend a little. The paint's still wet, literally and figuratively. But that's the magic. Nobo doesn't follow Boulder's rhythm, it writes its own soundtrack. Head east and you'll feel the pulse change again, from color and creativity to clarity and momentum. East Boulder and Boulder Junction aren't painting murals, they're building blueprints for what Boulder's future looks like. Tech, wellness, and car-light living that's quietly redefining what everyday life feels like here. Eyes up, real talk coming. All right, let's talk about something that makes most people lean in, the worst neighborhoods. And yeah, I'm saying that with big air quotes because in Boulder, worst usually just means the wrong vibe for you. Every corner of the city has its fan club. But if you think Boulder's all calm mornings and peaceful trails, buckle up because this is exactly where expectations and reality start wrestling a little bit. You crave still mornings and clear heads? University Hill will test your patience. The hill hums with bass lines, late night laughter, and the smell of pizza and weed drifting out of open windows. For some people, that's college nostalgia on tap, and for others, that's instant noise fatigue. Now swing to the opposite extreme, you land in Gun Barrel, big yards, breweries, dogs, and more night silence than your AirPods can handle. You'll meet your neighbors at sunrise, walking labs, not sipping martinis at midnight. It's calm, predictable, but for introverts, it can feel like social airplane mode. Then there's downtown. Everyone swears they want that Pearl Street life until they realize living above the party means the party lives with you. Street performers, buskers, music echoing between brick walls, and a whiff of espresso and incense in the air. Parking, a competitive sport. It's electric, but not for the faint of patience. And that's the truth. None of these are bad. They just ask different things of you. Downtown gives you constant buzz, but zero calm. South Boulder gives you serenity, but a longer drive for nightlife. The Hill gives you youth energy, but not a lot of sleep. Nobo gives a creative pulse, but it's still finding its center. It's never about good or bad, it's just chemistry. You just know when it clicks. Because really, the best neighborhood in Boulder isn't the fanciest one, it's the one that matches your frequency. The one that makes your Sundays feel easy. When you nail that fit, even traffic feels lighter. And when you don't, every coffee run feels uphill, both ways. That's why lifestyle fit trumps price tags or Zillow photos. Boulder's small, sure, but its personalities are loud. Not ratings, resonance. Each neighborhood either fuels your rhythm or messes with it. For years, East Boulder got written off. Warehouses, parking lots, kind of a drive-through district on your way somewhere better. But here's the plot twist. While everyone was chasing Pearl Street patios and trailhead views, East Boulder quietly built a lifestyle for people who like things that actually work. Now, it's in my view that one of the most fascinating corners of the city where espresso meets innovation and warehouse grit turns into wellness. Locals used to joke it was Boulder's storage closet. These days, it's Boulder's workshop. You'll see cyclists blasting down US 36 bikeway like they're late for the Tour de France, startup folks having walking meetings, and golden retrievers trotting beside e-bikes heading towards the next brewery patio. Even the warehouses here have better mountain views than most Denver penthouses. Down in Boulder Junction, you can feel the whole car-light living experiment taking shape. People walk their dogs to happy hour, hop on RTD's Flatiron Flyer to Denver, or work from a co-working space that used to be a loading dock. It's that so-called Brooklyn of Boulder vibe people keep talking about, except with sunshine instead of smog, kombucha instead of corner store beer, and mountain views that actually make Zoom backgrounds look fake. What makes East Boulder special isn't polish, it's momentum. You can see its evolution in real time. Cranes on one block, food trucks on the next, and a new energy-efficient condo rising behind industrial facades that still smell faintly of machine oil and fresh coffee. And here's the fact that matters. This is according to the city's housing and zoning plan, one of the few parts of Boulder where new mixed-use housing is being added, a rarity that feels almost like a miracle. Step into a cafe like Black Belly or Dry Storage and you'll see the whole ecosystem in motion. Creatives, engineers, young families, remote workers, all comparing trail maps and startup deadlines over the flat whites. The background noise isn't buskers or frat parties, it's the hiss of steam wands, the whir of bike tires, and the kind of low-key conversation hums that say, people are getting stuff done here. There's still runway here, growth ahead, without losing the soul that makes Boulder, Boulder. If current trends continue, in 3 years, many people may wish they would have bought in sooner. East Boulder is what many locals see as the blueprint for what Boulder is becoming, connected, sustainable, and a little gritty in all the right ways. It's a rare part of town that still has room to grow and the energy to do it. Real talk, this is where, in my opinion, Boulder's future is being built. One warehouse conversion and bike lane at a time. If you like your progress with a side of peace and a splash of personality, you'll fit right in. All right, drop it in the comments. Are you more team Pearl Street chaos or team East Boulder calm? I read them all and genuinely want to know which side of Boulder's personality you vibe with most. Now, we've covered the makers, the mountain people, and the dreamers, but there is that one last corner of Boulder that refuses to rush, where mornings stretch longer, backyards get bigger, and quiet becomes the luxury. Let's zoom out for a second, because many locals say the real best-kept secret is that the people who've really figured it out don't live in Boulder at all. Some orbit just outside the city, close enough to sip espresso on Pearl, but far enough to watch the sunset without another car in sight. Louisville is that warm, small-town soul with a social calendar that doesn't quit. Walk down Main Street and you'll smell wood-fired pizza and hear acoustic guitar floating out of an alley. There's this rhythm: block parties in July, winter skates twinkling downtown in December, and neighbors who actually wave first. And here's the kicker. According to recent market data, home prices here often run slightly below central Boulder averages, and so do your stress levels. You get that walk to dinner, hear crickets at night kind of life. Head east to Lafayette, Boulder's creative rebel cousin. Old Town Lafayette's where you bump into a muralist ordering the same cappuccino you did and somehow leave with an invite to a brewery's poetry night. Sidewalks are painted in color, not conformity. And the beauty, thanks to the Dash and US 36 lines, you can skip the car altogether. You'll even catch familiar faces from downtown galleries showing up for First Fridays here, the art crowd doing their neighborhood circuit, one coffee and canvas at a time. Then there's Lions, Boulder's mountain getaway with the soul of a music festival. Planet Bluegrass concert hums under the cottonwoods, Tombing on the St. Vrain runs through the center of town, and that little wine bar off Main Street feels like the town's unofficial living room. It's like someone shrunk Red Rocks, dropped it in a postcard, and handed it to locals. Kayak before lunch, open mic by sunset, that's the pace. Drive up the canyon a little bit further and you hit Nederland, slower, snowier, and a bit offbeat in the best way. It's for people who trade fleece for flannel and quiet for something deeper. Picture it: wood smoke curling up from chimneys, snow crunching under boots, a dinner where the same cook's been flipping pancakes for 20 years. With the town moving to take ownership of Eldora ski area, Nederland's becoming its own four-season base camp, half ski town, half artist sanctuary, all heart. Every one of these towns carries Boulder's DNA, just remixed. Louisville's community first, Lafayette's creative voltage, Lions, mountain music, and Nederland's snowy poetry. The practical side, you'll actually get elbow room, maybe a garage, maybe a yard, definitely a little more sanity. Depending on your HOA and taxes, your dollar stretches further out here, but the lifestyle, still pure Boulder at its core. Together, these towns don't compete with Boulder, they complete it. There were people say, I can hit Pearl Street when I want, but I don't have to. That's real freedom. That's the Boulder ecosystem in full color. Community without compromise. That's the real Boulder story, how all the pieces fit together. And that's the full picture. Boulder's rhythm, its edges, and the neighborhooding gems that give it balance. But figuring out which one fits you, that's the art, and the part where things start to get personal. Here's the note I wish someone handed me. Here's the truth nobody tells you when you start looking at Boulder. There isn't just one Boulder. There's your Boulder. For some people, it's a clatter of coffee cups on Pearl Street patios, the hum of buskers, and that 5 p.m. glow that paints the Flatirons like a postcard. For others, it's quiet mornings in South Boulder where you can hear the creek before you even check your phone, or no-bo nights when gallery lights spill onto the sidewalk and the air smells faintly of fresh paint and espresso. And threading through it all, 46,000 acres acres of open space that make nature at your doorstep less of a slogan and more of a weekday habit. Boulder isn't one personality, it's a constellation of them. Downtown draws the energy junkies who thrive on movement and people. South Boulder and Chautauqua are built for your dawn hikers, your boots laced before sunrise types. Nobo's creative streak is just stretching its legs, and that creative campus will crank the arts and music pulse up a notch. East Boulder, that's for the thinkers and makers who like their coffee bold and their homes with a little warehouse grid. And if you crave a slower rhythm, mountain town mornings, live music under string lights, the outer ring of Louisville, Lafayette, Lyons, or Netherland might be your perfect wavelength. You see it in the architecture too. Mid-century gems tucked under maples in South Boulder, glass and steel modern builds rising in East Boulder, restored cottages with art studios out back in Nobo. Every pocket has its own style, its own story, its own kind of calm. Because living here is never about chasing the coolest neighborhood. It's about finding the corner of Boulder that clicks with who you are. Are you the late night live music kind or the sunrise trailhead kind? Do you crave buzz or do you crave pulse? The thing about this city, you don't have to pick a side, you just have to dial in the frequency that fits. Every pocket here has its own heartbeat, its own people who get it. You can feel it at a Nobo First Friday, on a patio in East Boulder, or while watching the Flatirons change color at dusk. It's not about molding yourself to Boulder's image, it's about letting Boulder move with you. And if you're sitting there thinking, all right, but which one exactly feels like me? That's what my team helps people figure out. We don't just help you move to Boulder, we help you find the version that feels like home from day one. Boulder doesn't reward busy, it rewards intentional. Everything here runs on its own current. People don't rush from place to place, they flow. You'll notice it the first week you're here. No one's asking, how far is that? They're asking, how long does it take today? Downtown to Table Mesa, one podcast intro. North Boulder to CU, maybe two if you catch the red on Broadway. Eastside folks have it dialed. Boulder Junction's quietly turning into the city's mobility brain where bikes, buses, and coffee run all cross paths without chaos. And yeah, if you've got to roll down to Denver, the Flatiron Flyer usually makes that feel smoother than you'd expect, especially when the foothills are glowing in the rearview mirror. It's not a commute, it's a live wallpaper moment. And now walking and biking here, that's not weekend only. Boulder's Zero Vision plan has been reshaping the streets to make every day car-free actually doable, wider crossings, lower speeds, protected bike lanes that don't feel like daredevil acts. It's one of the few cities in the region where, according to local transportation data, many families feel comfortable letting their kids bike to school without checking their pulse after. And let's be honest, the weather's a wild card. Boulder can snow at sunrise and feel like San Diego by lunch. The wind, total character. Sometimes background noise, sometimes full diva. But that's the trade-off of 4 true seasons and all over 300 days of sunshine. You'll shovel in the morning, hike in the afternoon, and brag about it by dinner. Schools and safety, the city doesn't coast. According to recent BVSD reports, the Boulder Valley School District continues to earn accreditation with distinction, with graduation rates around 90% most years and real transparent accountability. The Boulder's PD dashboard lets you see what's happening and not just hear about it. Add the wildfire readiness programs, free home safety gains, grants to hardened properties, actual neighborhood level planning, and you start to see how proactive this town really is. But here's the local secret. Boulder's life works best when your triangle is tight: home, coffee, trailhead. Nail that combo and every day starts to feel like balance by design. In my opinion, that's the cheat code nobody tells you. Eastside neighborhoods like Louisville, Lafayette, and Superior, they've got that triangle down cold. Room to breathe, parking that doesn't ruin your morning, still 10 minutes from the action. And every once in a while, your 5-minute drive turns into an elk traffic jam because, yeah, Boulder lets nature interrupt your schedule. It's part of the charm. When you zoom out, the logistics here don't feel like logistics, they feel like lifestyle architecture. Everything from the bus routes to the bike lanes to the morning light bouncing off the Flatirons was built for people who want to live well, not just get by. One clean takeaway: we've walked through the beauty, the quirks, the culture, and the calm. Now it's time to turn that perspective into a plan, because the best version of Boulder, it's the one that fits you. Here's the truth. Nobody just ends up in Boulder. You choose it, you chase it, because something about this place, the light, the air, the rhythm of the people, it's different. It's not a city you move to by accident. It's a lifestyle you step into on purpose. I had a client recently who told me, we thought Boulder was too much, too pricey, too outdoorsy, too everything. 3 months later, they're sending me videos of their kids biking to school with the Flatirons in the background. That's what happens here. Boulder quietly rearranges your priorities until your life starts to look like something you'd actually post about. So if Boulder's already tugging at you, answer back. Don't overthink it. Reach out, call us, text us, or email us. Our info's right here in the description. We're your local real estate team here in Boulder that helps people find not just a house, but their place in this lifestyle. And when you're ready to see how each neighborhood really lives and breathes, check out the playlist I made for you. It's called Your Boulder Life Decoded. It's packed with insider looks at every corner of the city so you can figure out exactly where you belong. Glad we shared this lap around Boulder. Thanks for watching. Seriously, Boulder's got a vibe, but it's also a community, and if you're even a little bit curious about making it yours, we're here for that journey. Call us, email us, or text us, and I'll catch you on the next one.